welcome to episode 17 of Lost Signals. My name is Daryl. I am joined by very special guest, Earl Pereira. How's it going, buddy?
Good, Daryl, man. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on, man. Kind of been talking about this for a couple weeks here, trying to figure out a day which going to work, and my schedule changes and your schedule changes. It's all good. I knew it was going to happen. Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when.
Exactly.
Yes. So, first thing I want to ask, and I'm tired of talking about it because everybody, it's like on the tip of everybody's tongues every day. How did you handle COVID as a musician? What was your best way that you killed time during COVID?
Well, to be completely honest, I had a good time. I mean, I struggled with the same things everyone else did.
Yep.
But then I was one of the fortunate ones. Finally, like us artists, full-time musicians, finally catch a break, which was the old CERB, right?
Yeah.
Found myself being paid to stay home and make music, which is that never happens,
that never
right?
happens. No.
I'm hustling. We're booking tours. It takes up all my time. I'm running the business. It's tiring. It's exhausting. And then you have this much time to make music and get out an album out, right? So
right.
It was the break I needed. Like been going pretty hard. I mean, you know how it is. Touring's tough on the body. I'm not 25 anymore, right? So
Yeah.
I'm 45. So
yeah,
it's I still feel like inside I'm 25,
yeah.
but you feel you don't recover as quickly, and to be able to kind of rest my body for a year and a half and reload with new music, coming into this year. As soon as I knew when this was going to end, I knew it was going to end eventually, that we were going to have a whole new album in the works. So it was good for me, man. I had no problems. I had no worries. I missed playing live, but then I kind of didn't because I was doing it,
right? Because you guys,
Saskatoon,
yeah,
we were this one city that live music kept on go. We didn't stop. I mean, it stopped at the beginning when COVID first hit,
right?
But I don't know when it was, June of last summer, once you could do music again, I've been playing ever since. Like, so you just had to sing with masks on, right? Which isn't ideal.
So you guys got away with like a Western Canada tour last summer too, didn't you?
Got away with the tour, yeah. Almost made it to the end, man. The last 3 shows got canceled. Kelowna had a big outbreak, which really screwed us over because we had a couple big, shows to play that a few days notice I had to cancel them, so that sucked.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least you guys got to get out, But,
we did, yeah. And Canadian Musician Magazine actually caught wind of it and did a spread about it as like the only band in Canada on tour.
Yeah.
So it was great. We got to shoot a music video while we were in Tofino and just be out there again, be reunited and back on the road. Felt like it was too good to be true, and it was, because I mean, come November we're back in lockdown again, and everything's shitty again. So
the video you shot, was that for the new single that was just released the other day?
The slow reggae jam.
I'm digging it, man.
That's the summer tune right now.
Yeah.
So that's got those vibes. I just want to make it it's like a feel good, make you feel relaxed, like you're on vacation kind of song. And video. So.
No, I'm really digging it. I watched a couple times last night, just trying to get it ready for this. So getting that headspace.
Awesome.
Let's.
And the cool thing about that is that song features a friend of mine who's from Tofino. She was singing on it and starring in it with all the surfing footage. She's a pro surfer too.
Nice.
Just a beautiful girl. Just a talented person. But I just found out that she helped us book a Tofino show this summer, so we're going to be playing with her this summer in Tofino at the same place we shot the music video.
Oh, it's
It's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, the video looked really sick. Like, it had like a really cool backdrop for it. So yeah.
The production team was awesome.
Yeah. Let's jump back a little bit more, because like some of my listeners may not realize exactly who you are. So like my first experience probably listening to any of your music would have been Wide Mouth Mason back in the mid '90s. I mean, that's Big
Yeah.
Shiny Tunes 2 probably wasn't the first place that I'd heard you, but like terrestrial radio. You guys, you
Right.
kicked around there, but like you're in that band like 15 years or something, give or take.
Yeah, actually it was 17, but we were officially called Wide Mouth for 15 of those years.
Yeah.
My first Wide Mouth gig was playing the Aiden Bowman Aftergrad in '94.
Yeah.
Uh, and then we jumped on some shows. It was basically the same circuit my older brother had been doing for years.
Yeah.
And he kind of got us that opportunity to we called it the Z circuit, just like the worst places ever, right? But
I can just
and
imagine now.
you're playing songs that you don't even want to play.
Yeah.
It's just like these are the songs you have to play. It's ZZ Top, Rolling Stones,
Yeah.
Tragically Hip, George Thorogood,
Yeah.
and a sprinkling of any other things you want to throw in there, right? So yeah, we did that for years, playing hundreds and hundreds of shows. We'd be playing 6 weeks every night in Yellowknife, White Horse,
Wow.
Walking Lake, Terrace, BC, Flin Flon, like stuff people didn't know we did, and people were like, wow, how come they're so good? Where they get, that's why we were the only, while all the other cool original bands were playing 1 gig a month, we were playing 30 gigs a month.
Yeah.
And constantly getting better. So that was kind of the beginning of it. By the next year, we had upgraded to the B circuit, which was kind of playing blues bars.
Yep.
Which meant we got to play half of our own tunes. We were playing kind of like resorts like Banff and Canmore and blues bars all around everywhere, backing up blues guys from the States, and really, really cutting our teeth. Got to be on your toes when you're doing those type of gigs, right? It's all hand signals, and it's stressful, right?
Yeah.
As a 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid, I was, it was pretty stressful. But it's all those experiences kind of led to when we released our first indie record in '96, which ended up getting picked up by Warner, which ended up, it wasn't just Warner though, there was every record label in the country was trying to sign us. So every gig we would play, there'd be someone from another label schmoozing us, taking us out for dinner,
Nice,
whining and dining us.
Yeah.
So we actually choose Warner out of all the labels, which is pretty cool position to be in. Considering we were playing for a bar full of chickens and hockey players.
Yeah.
Not full, like 12 chickens and 3 hockey players.
Yeah. Yeah, and the random drunk guy in the corner that has no idea what's going on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the best one was Provost, Alberta, which is the Aryan Nation capital of Canada. So that was fun.
For a multicultural band like that.
We went over real well there.
Yeah.
So that I mean, all those experiences like got us prepared quickly for the bright lights. But having said that, it was still an adjustment, because when you're on a label and there's that pressure, it's a totally different game. It's not. It's almost not as fun anymore. It's like it's work. It's hard work.
So with the label.
Demanding.
Yeah, so would the label actually like come in and like tell you have to play it like this, or you have to change a song, or you have to change lyrics, you have to change whatever? Like, was that a constant thing you guys dealt with?
Normally, that would be the case. We had our situation was a little different because we foolishly said no, you keep your money. We don't want you to pay for any of our albums. We're gonna pay for our albums.
Yeah.
That means we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't tell us what to do. In hindsight, I mean, it was smart for us creatively. Not so smart for us financially, because being in debt so much money for so many years was tough.
Yeah.
Right? It made it almost so that you were You had.
Looks like your mic is muted there. What's going on there? Sorry, man, your mic's muted. I don't know what's going on.
Can you still hear me?
You're just coming up now, yeah?
Oh, lost you.
Oh,
There we go.
better? Good? Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, I'll continue.
I'll just edit that
had
out.
we
It's
let
fine.
them, had we let them pay for everything, yeah, they might have said this and that about this song and that song, but I guess that's the trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Having some more financial freedom and less creative control,
Right.
or no financial freedom but all creative control. So I don't know, if I were to do it all over again, I'm not sure what I would want to do. I might choose the
Yeah.
other way just to see what that would have been like.
Yeah. I mean, I could see why, I could see the merits of both, right? Like the creative, like be able to sit down and write your own songs, but also to have somebody else pay the bills. It's a little tempting on both sides.
It just made it so tough because I'd come home from tour and we got hit songs on the radio and on Much Music, and we're touring with the Rolling Stones, and
Yeah.
I can barely afford to eat.
Yeah.
I owned a house. Like, I bought a house when I was 21, 22 years old, to take care of my folks.
Yeah.
And so that was a struggle. Financially it was tough for all of us. For me, it was a little more tough because I was the only one that owned a house. Those guys kind of lived with their parents, sort of rent free, I suppose.
Yeah.
Where I was taking care of my folks, paying for everything.
Yeah.
And at 22 years old, like that's kind of a lot to ask. Right.
That's a lot. It's a big deal to take care of somebody like that. So, but
yeah. So it was an interesting juxtaposition to be, going to McDonald's and being recognized at the drive-through by everybody wanting pictures, but then questioning, why are you driving this piece of shit car?
That's
Yeah.
That's a musician thing, though. It seems it's like you're putting all
right?
either you have no money and you're putting it all into gear, or you just have no money. That's the way I look at it.
But perception-wise, you would think that you're touring the world and everything, that you should be well off.
Yeah.
And we would have been had we not paid for everything, right?
Right.
So
right.
Yeah, it is what it is. I don't think I'd change it. I mean, it's everything. All roads lead to where you're at now, and I'm really happy where I'm at now.
Right.
So yeah, those were interesting times back then.
I can imagine. So what would have been the biggest show you guys played with Wide Mouth?
There were some big ones, man. But probably hands down, Sky Dome.
Yeah.
Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
It was awesome because my folks flew out for it.
Yeah.
And they were right in the front row, and I got a weird. I'll never forget. I don't remember anything else about the show other than I got this weird minor moment of vertigo.
Oh.
Where the sound and lights crew for part of our set turned the lights on in the whole building so you could see every single person.
Oh man.
In the stadium. And there was like 60,000 people there, right? So I started I spent the rest of the set trying not to fall over.
Oh, man, that's a bad.
It's really weird.
That's a bad way to.
I didn't have anything to drink. I didn't smoke any weed. It was just it just made me feel really weirdly dizzy.
Oh,
so that was that show. I made it through it though.
Yeah.
It wasn't our best show with those guys. I think our best Stone show would have been probably Montreal, Bell Center. It wasn't as many people, probably about 20,000. But that was a show where when we finished, we got a standing ovation from the crew.
Wow.
As we were walking the stage. And they hate every band. They hate all the opening bands, right?
Yeah.
They hate you.
Yeah.
The moment you step on stage, they hate you. It doesn't matter if you're No Doubt or Big Sugar, they hate you.
Yeah.
So I was really proud of that. Edgefest had some big shows.
Yeah.
We did the whole '99 tour with Courtney Love, with Hole.
What
Um,
was she
which
like? Did you meet her?
was interesting. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One night it was her birthday, and they threw a surprise party, and it was just I walked backstage and everyone yelled surprise. I ruined it all because I had no idea.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just roll in, everyone jumps out and surprise. And like, oh, who the fuck is this guy? Oh, sorry.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
and there's a bunch of strippers and just like it was a weird scene. And she also had like her teenage girl fans and then strippers and like, what is happening
Oh
back
man.
here? This is a mess. Um, yeah, that was a crazy tour, but she wasn't the crazy one on tour. The crazy person on that tour was Ian Thornley.
Really?
He, yeah, he's a troublemaker, man. He got me in so much shit
Yeah.
on that tour. My own fault because I fell to the peer pressure
Yeah.
of, he's a big guy. It's hard to say no,
Yeah.
right?
She's probably just
So at
dragging
the
you
top,
along. It's like, let's go do something stupid. Yeah.
and I'm the responsible one, right? So I was given keys to the golf cart backstage so I can zip us back and forth to do interviews, right? Because
Yeah.
there was like a radio station tent set up, and so they gave me the keys, and he found out I had the keys, and he comes up to me and he's like, "Hey man, hey, let's go take the golf cart out there." I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean? Out where?" He's like, "Out there where all the people are." I'm like, no, 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 no. You can't do that. You can't do that. He's like, no, 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 it'll be fun, man. We'll just rip around. Kids will be chasing us. It'll be awesome. I'm like, dude, we can't do that. And then I finally caved because I didn't think security would even let us through.
Yeah.
Right. So I start driving. He jumps in shotgun. Dave Gann from Matt Good Band, now of 5440, jumps in the back. So it's the three of us. And I pull up to the security tent and thinking they're just gonna shut us down. And then Thornley, it's like, we're late. We're late for the radio interview. You gotta let us through right now. We gotta get there right now. And they're like, oh, okay, sure. We open up the gates. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Oh man. So I'm driving. He's like, oh, go over there. I'm like, to like where the vendors are? I'm like, this is a bad idea, man. Next thing I know, we've got like 500 kids chasing after us for autographs.
Yeah.
And I'm cruising in and out of vendors trying to get away, and we got in big shit. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that was a memorable one from that tour. Jeez, man, I got so many stories. Like, those were good times. Like, as much as the Napster and everything kind of killed the music industry right at our peak.
Yeah.
Before that happened, man, there were some good times for sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about well, I don't know if you can see behind me, but we both play the exact same bass. How did you get involved with Dingle guitars? I mean,
oh yeah, you got the Super J back there, right?
The Super J with the PJs.
Yeah.
And I got a D tuner on my E string, and
yeah, same thing, man.
Yeah, I noticed like on one of the pictures, like yours is that burst though. Mine's just a solid Bronze Age. So how did you get involved? Like, cause you've been a sponsor, or you've been sponsored by them for quite a few years now, hasn't it been?
Yeah, pretty much after the factory burned down, and then Sheldon rebuilt on Broadway there, in the Bob HQ building.
Yeah.
The basement.
Yeah.
That would have been 98 was when Sheldon and I first kind of got together to discuss sponsorship and whatever, endorsing.
Yeah.
And I loved the basses. I mean, I had the 5-string Voodoo.
Yeah.
He had made a prototype that eventually became the Super J, but he had built it 10 years earlier.
Oh.
Yeah, except it looked too much. The headstock looked too much like a Music Man. So
Yeah.
Ernie Ball kind of was like, no, 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 no.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't make these. So he shut it down, and then stuck with just the Voodoos and eventually the Afterburners for a long time. But that prototype is mine.
Yeah. You know,
I snagged that.
it's funny
Yeah.
you say that you have a prototype because I actually have a prototype as well.
Do you?
I do. It's an actual guitar though. It's not a bass. It's a less.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
less.
yeah. I remember when he made a guitar. Yeah,
Yeah, they
he
made a couple.
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a Les Paul.
he's a guitar player.
Yeah. Well,
Sheldon's not
yeah,
a bass player.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
a guitar. Yeah.
yeah. So I
Um,
I saw it in a video once, and I started bugging him about it, and he finally sold it to me. So it sits
That's
here.
crazy.
It doesn't get played because I'm not a guitar player or a bass player, but I have it. So
yeah, yeah. I didn't really have to bug him too much. I was just like, can I just, how much for this?
Yeah.
You know, and he was like, gave me the cost deal like that you'd get when you're sponsored.
yeah,
So yeah, I had both of those as my main bases from '98 onwards. And whenever I needed a bass for like a music video or a specific tour, he would just, let me test run some things just to,
yeah.
and then so I could tell them how it played and what it was like. So
That's research for them. I mean, it's like
yeah. I think I took the first Afterburner on tour.
yeah,
On the Stew tour. It was like a lime green, racing green
yeah.
bass, passive, which I didn't love. I like the actives more.
Yeah.
But I took it on tour and it was fine. It was great. So yeah, I've been ever since. And then around come 2008, he builds the Super J's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I want one of these. Can you make me one? So
Yeah.
I got the design, the one I have from scratch. Picked out all the paint job. I picked out how I wanted it to look, all the wood, and I love it. That's my main bass.
Yeah.
Although lately, I mean, I've needed to take it in, but I haven't yet. So I've been playing my yin yang, the prototype.
Oh yeah.
Bass,
Yeah.
the black and white one. Got that back out again. I haven't played that, sort of, had put that away for a while, but it's back. It's back in action again.
Yeah. So can you flip between 4 and 5 string pretty easily? Because I know I can't. I've had a bunch of 5 strings and I just can't. I trip over that B string. So.
Yeah. No, I think I think so. It's been a while. I ended up. I don't have the 5 string anymore.
Yeah.
I ended up getting rid of that. But I just got, and I haven't told Sheldon this yet because I got it on trade for producing an album for a local band.
Yeah.
For some reason, they had I guess it's like a custom shop Fender 5-string jazz deluxe.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Yeah.
It's worth a few grand. Beautiful bass, 5-string too.
Yeah.
And so I played it, and they asked if could we pay you with this bass for producing our EP, and I just couldn't say no. It just sounded too darn good.
Yeah.
And I missed that low B, so now I have that and as in my arsenal too. So those are the 3 main basses, and I have probably, in my opinion, the best acoustic bass that I've ever played. It's the Epiphone El Capitan.
I had one of those. The
Did
body
you?
was just the body was so big on it though.
It's so big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a Fender Kingman after that though, and I liked it because it was smaller. But like I remember playing that El Capitan.
Oh,
It's just
geez.
like it's almost like
The
playing a
sub
double bass.
frequency,
Yeah.
yeah, when it's plugged in, the sub frequency is just unreal. Like it's like a stand-up bass.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
And it was reasonably priced too. I bought it from Long McQuaid. It was like $800 or something. Like that's.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Mine was a little more. I think it was more of a higher end version. But actually, I told this story to a friend of mine who was asking me where I got it recently, and we were playing. Widemouth was playing an acoustic show at the Gibson Cafe in Nashville.
Yeah.
And Sean was sponsored by Gibson, so he had a whole bunch of free guitars from them, right? We
Yeah.
went to the factory. He just got to pick up whatever he wanted. So I was just like, oh, lucky. And then I think I had mentioned I don't have an acoustic bass, but I was going to play my electric
Yeah.
for the show. And when we got to the show, they had brought me the El Capitan to play.
Yeah.
And I was assuming to use for the show, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a Gibson thing. They wanted everything to look Epiphone Gibson, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I loved it. I was like, oh my God, this bass is just unreal. And then finished the show and I put it back in the case and gave it back to them,
Yeah.
to the reps. And they were like, oh, no, we brought this for you to
Dang.
take home.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, really? Because I'm going to take it. If you
Yeah.
say it's mine,
Like you're never gonna see me again, but I'm
you're
taking the
never gonna see
guitar.
it
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, that's awesome though. It's
yeah, that's the only free guitar or bass I've ever got.
Yeah. So what are you using for an amp right now? Like when you guys are on stage, like doing your thing, what do you got for gear for that?
Well, I travel light, and when playing club shows and stuff like that, I have things just rocking monitors and stuff anyway. So I just bring my little SVT micro.
Yeah.
Yeah, 210 mini head.
Yeah.
And it's usually more than enough. If I need to play bigger shows, if I need anything for bigger shows, they usually have backline, so I don't rarely have to bring anything. And if I do, then I have a Ampeg 18 cabinet as well, so I can link those two together and
be more than enough.
A big monster sound, yeah, if I want to.
Yeah. So, we'll jump ahead a bit here. So you formed the Steadies in 2011, but you weren't originally known as the Steadies, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I can't. Is it Moda Bass?
The band before Steadies is Mo Badass.
Mo Bad. I'm bad with words sometimes. Yeah. So, and obviously, I'm guessing you just started with shows around Saskatoon, with that, or is that kind of like straight out on the road?
It was kind of straight out on the road. What had happened in them, like around 2004 or 5, I was finding that like the Wide Milk tour schedule had slowed down significantly.
Yeah.
I mean, in 97 and 98, we played 300 shows a year.
Jesus.
In those 2 years.
Yeah.
And then the next few years after that was 250, 200, right? Finally got whittled down to like 100. Which didn't seem like very much to me. So I wanted to keep playing, so I added another 50 to that total by starting my own band and playing shows. But it's funny, it started really with just wanting to go snowboarding on my time off.
Yeah.
And my cousins and friends, they're all musicians, just couldn't afford it. You know, they're like, wow, we want to come, but we can't. And I was like, well, what if we book gigs at the same in Banff and in Jasper and all these resorts?
Get paid to go.
And we get paid to go.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, really? Like you'd be able to do that? And I was like, no problem. I called up the places and be like, hey, it's Earl from Widemouth. Sure, we'll take you.
Yeah.
How much money do you want?
All of it. Just give me all of the money.
Okay, cool. So that was fun. And then it just evolved, you know, because the sound of Mo Badass, I mean, it was all covers, right?
Yeah.
But then I had a bunch of original songs that never ever got used for any Wide Mouth albums, but I still loved the songs. So I was like, these are perfect for these type of gigs, you know. It has like a kind of Sublime vibe to them. Right? Which everyone loves Sublime. And especially at these resorts, people snowboarding, right? It's just like perfect kind of style, but with a little bit of funk to it. And it just, eventually turned into an original album. One album I put out in 2008, Mo Badass Island Rock. And we released a couple other things, like maybe an EP, a live at Jazz Fest thing. But by the time I had left Widemouth to go on my own, I knew the band that I was going to make as my number one priority had to sound like a more serious band.
Probably a
No one
little hard to
took.
put Mo Badass on a t-shirt.
Yeah,
You'd want to be taken seriously.
exactly. Like we were never gonna get really played on the radio or get any
Yeah,
grants, things
yeah,
like that. It didn't, and marketing wise, it didn't really fit what the music was either.
yeah,
A lot of people thought it was gonna be rap or hard rock or something like that.
yeah.
So like, okay, well, we need a name that suits the sound, and then yeah, the Steadies came about. Actually, was listening to an album that came out around that time. It was called Motown Flies to Jamaica. So it was a really rare album that was released, which was basically the owner of Motown, which is Berry Gordy, was trying to promote the music from in the 60s. This was
Yeah.
to promote Motown in Jamaica to that whole market in Africa, Jamaica. Just he just felt like there was a huge market there
Yeah.
of people that would love the Motown sound. So what he did was he sent them the reels of the instrumentals,
Yeah.
and then these Jamaican artists would form a band, a house band, and re-record them, but with the vocal tracks of the original artists, but with brand new music,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But it's still in the 60s.
Yeah.
So the house band called themselves the Steadies, but it wasn't a real band. It was just a bunch of musicians
Yeah.
that formed basically the backing music for like what the Funk Brothers is to Motown.
Yeah. Yeah.
These was to the Jamaican versions of them, the reggae versions and ska versions of everything. So I saw that name and I noticed it wasn't taken, it wasn't a real band, and I was like, shit,
It's perfect.
I want it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really does fit your style of music too. Like that's that kind of vibe, that island vibe. I made a note last night. It's kind of what they keep, like your new track too. It's like it's got that island vibe, so it fits it really well.
Yeah, I think so too. Marketing wise, I think it was a good call, and it's a fun name. People kind of know it does suit us. It suits the vibe for sure.
Yeah.
10 years later, still working.
Still here,
right?
yeah.
This is our 10-year anniversary tour this summer.
Right, and you guys have done your Kelowna boat tour. You've done that 10 years in a row now, haven't you? Or
well, it would have been, if we don't count last year.
You know, you can write last year off because it was all bullshit.
Yeah, let's just strike it from the record.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
And I have already, because technically this would be our 11th year of the Steadies if we count last year, but I don't count it, so this will be our 10th. Yeah, and we're doing the boat party next month, so that'll be the 10-year of that as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, lots of cool achievements there. 10 years is kind of a special time.
It's a big thing, right? It's 10 years to do anything is really, like impressive, right? So
and when we study history of music, I mean, a lot of bands don't really hit their stride until 10 years in, right? Or get their big break until that time. So.
Yeah, it's good. So the tour is coming up. Or like I saw kind of some of the dates. Like lots of Western Canada stuff. Are you going to be able to get anywhere else, or is it kind of just sticking around here for now?
Yeah, yes, totally sticking around here for now. Still don't know what things are improving out east, but not to the point where we could go play a normal show there yet.
Right.
Even BC hasn't been approved for dancing inside. So
really? I didn't know that.
The couple shows we have booked that are indoors are going to be like no masks, but no dancing. So
it's kind of silly if you ask me. I mean, it
doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm not getting into that argument again.
I just hope they just let people do it anyways.
Yeah.
It's really, at this point, nobody cares, right?
Yeah.
So, and maybe in a month from now, things in BC will be better.
Yeah.
To the point where they just say screw it.
Yeah,
you can dab.
It's funny. My band played a show at the Capitol at the beginning of June, so we could have people in there. There's like 50 people in there. You had to sit at your table. People wanted to get up and dance, and they were dancing beside their table with masks on. They told them to sit down. It was just the most ridiculous thing ever. But you know what? Saskatchewan's open now, and whatever.
Yeah, that's in the past.
Yeah.
Let's hopefully that's stays in the past.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't like thinking about the wearing mask shows anymore. I mean, it was great to just get to play. Our guitarist, one of our guitarists, one of our two guitarists, Chris Velo, books somewhere else pub.
Nice.
Books the bands there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was nice just to have a place where if he messaged me and be like, "Hey, there's no one playing on this night. Do you want to play? Do you want to put something together there?" And it was great just to be like, "Sure." Call up a couple buddies of ours that are musicians, and I'm like, "Hey, do you want to play? Do you want to play?" And then throw a show together. And yeah, you got to wear a mask. I did kind of get used to it. I mean, the no dancing thing is just. I could do it. I can only do that for so long, especially with the kind of music we play.
Yeah.
And
yours isn't sit and like watch music. It's not. It's you want to get up.
And I had to play more singer-songwriter type things. Just I'm like, okay, well, this is my chance to do that I don't normally do. So I did change the show quite a bit. I tried to avoid the tempting people to want to dance. So I played a lot more acoustic, singer-songwriter type things.
Yeah, that's fair. So jumping back pre-pandemic, you guys made some pretty big news there for a little bit when you had like the star from Archie up on stage with you. What actually happened?
Yeah,
there?
Archie himself.
Yeah,
it was Archie.
We
were playing in Vancouver at the Guilt & Co., which is my favorite place to play.
Yeah.
In Vancouver. And it was just jam-packed, and it's lined. There's a stairwell that leads down, and I remember I went out for smoke with some of the band guys, and it was lined up like up the stairs and around the corner.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy smokes, man, this place is the best, right?
Yep.
And I've had friends texting me, can you get us in? Just like, it's a shit show, right?
Yeah.
So went back inside for the next set, and it's like mid-set, and the place is jammed. Everyone, the dance floor's packed, and I see him right in the front, and I watched a couple episodes because I was curious about that show, right?
Yeah.
So I had seen probably the first, 5 or 6 episodes, so I knew he played guitar because he plays it on the show.
Yeah.
And him and I didn't realize the whole cast was there, but they were all there.
Right.
Yeah, and but I recognized him right away,
yeah.
And I was like, hey man, like. We talked to him in between sets. He was singing along to the covers, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to come up and play? Like, I know you play." And he was like, "Oh, for real, man? Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm serious." And he told me, he's like, I show up here, on weekends when we have the weekend off, trying to get people to let me up and play, and nobody has yet."
Oh, dang!
So that was the first time.
Yeah.
That someone actually not only let him play, but like asked him to play.
Yeah.
So he was really stoked, right?
Yeah.
And I had my jazz master there. That was just kind of my guitarist's backup guitar.
Yeah. For
the tour. And I'm like, yeah, is this guitar okay? And he's like, oh yeah, for sure. And then he plugged it in and started jamming, and he was just ripping on it.
Yeah.
Like, kid can play, right? I was like, right on. Okay, well this is gonna be great. So I just shouted out the keys of the songs whenever we jumped into. And footage that people saw was like clip here and clip there.
Yeah.
He played with us like the whole set though.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Nice. He played like for like 45 minutes.
Holy
right?
Shit.
Yeah, and like Betty and Veronica were filming it. Yeah, we got a crap ton of press because he posted it on his Instagram and it got like 2.5 million views.
Probably like right away too. Yeah.
It was just like, holy dude, thank you. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
I put it on the map. And the next thing I know, our Instagram went from 2,000 followers to 4,000 followers just in a matter of weeks, right?
That's awesome.
And lots of press, TMZ, New Zealand press, London press, Hollywood.com, like all this crazy stuff. So I only wish that we would have been able to, because he even said he was going to play on the record, and when I asked him to after the show, and unfortunately the business team, I think behind him, said no.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Maybe eventually, maybe when the show is over, he'll be able to hop over and play some tracks.
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah, I think so too. You know, or if we have something that picks up some steam and gives us a little bit more clout
Yeah.
for him to be able to go to his people and be like, hey, this is that band. Now are you gonna let me?
Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Awesome,
it'd be
man.
really cool.
Yeah. So we'll wrap things up here quick. So what's next? So you got your tour coming up, and
Yeah. So and it officially starts August 6th. Although we do have some shows before that. We've got a August long weekend in Edmonton.
yeah,
Not really officially part of the tour. It's more of a one-off weekend, um, but still shows nonetheless.
yeah,
And then the tour is Regina, August 6th. Then we got Moose Fest up in Bellevue.
which is right in my neck of the woods. It's
Yeah, then August
yeah,
12th we have a huge show in Saskatoon that I can't freaking talk about, but everyone can pretty much guess what it
yeah,
is,
yeah,
right? So I just can't really say until I think it gets announced soon. But
yeah,
that's gonna be nuts. I'm super pumped for that, a big one. And then then we're off to BC, boat parties, Tofino, Vancouver,
yeah.
um, a whole whack of shows. I think there's 17 on total on that tour. So
That's awesome.
we're gonna be busy.
I-
And then yeah, new album is in the works. A new single is gonna come out in the fall on our new label.
Yeah,
Bristol Records, which is Vancouver-based label. Copperline Music is their partner label, which is in Nashville,
yeah,
and the distributor is Sony, The Orchard. So there's a few teams involved
yeah.
with our music now. So that's a collaboration with the lead singer from Delhi to Dublin, who's a good friend of mine. We're like bros from back in the day, and D2D isn't really doing much these days. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're like an electronica world music band from
No, I'll have to
Vancouver.
give
They're a big festival band.
okay.
They've played here before. They tour the world. They go play in India. Like most of the guys in the band are East Indian guys, and
Yeah,
and a Celtic female fiddle player. So it gives it a really
it's
wacky sound.
it's kind of all over the place. Sounds
All
good.
over the
Yeah,
place. Yeah, but he's a really deadly singer, and he's a good friend. And we started working on a tune together about a year ago. And once I played that demo of it for the label, because they were wanting to hear new tunes, I'm like, well, don't have a ton of new tunes. We're working on new tunes, but here's one
yeah.
that's sort of finished. And right away they're like, boom, this is the first single off the new album. I'm
Nice.
like, are you sure? Because
Yeah.
I'm gonna make more music still. So, but that happened, and it makes sense. I mean, his team's gonna promote it, and our team's gonna promote it. So, it makes sense. It's a little different sound for us, but still Steadies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it does incorporate partially what his sound is all about into our sound. So,
Yeah.
which is cool. I love doing that. It just makes things more interesting.
Well,
for listening.
you can't play the same stuff over and over, same style. I mean, you gotta evolve to some degree.
Gotta
I
evolve.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, production wise, it definitely took another leap. We have another year and a half of studio work under our belts. And I produce all constantly. My drummer Curtis is a very talented engineer and mix engineer and producer. So between the two of us and the band members, we do everything ourselves. We don't really hire producers anymore because we just feel like we know our sound, we know what we want.
Yeah.
If there's going to be someone big, we're gonna bring someone to the table, then they better be a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
They better be better than what we can do.
Yeah.
Right. So, which could happen someday. We'll see.
Yeah.
I would love to work with a producer, like Daniel Lanois or Mark Ronson or something. If I'm dreaming, then those are a couple guys I can think of that would be super, super awesome for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Just seeing what happens in the fall. Just let things open up more, so we can go out east, and then do another tour out west before the new year's over, and then we'll see what happens in the new year. There's talks of going overseas again.
Nice.
Which would be my first choice.
Yeah.
Which would be New Zealand and Australia. If we can go there in January, February, I'd be pretty happy.
Well, it's summer there. I mean,
and try to make it happen. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So, Awesome, man. Well, thanks again for stopping by, and we'll I guess we'll end her there. My name is Daryl. I've been joined by special guest Earl Pereira from the Steadies, formerly Wide Mouth Mason. Thanks again for coming, man, and we'll see you guys out there.
Keep slapping the bass, eh?
Yeah.